What would you label a personality quirk as?
So to me, it's what makes us unique and sort of stand out. It differentiates. So I like the word quirk. So quirkiness.
I love it. You and I are quirk people.
I know we
you
are.
You and I are quirk people. We have personality quirk is definitely.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Hello there, dear Deb. Hello, dear listeners. Here we are with another deliciously motivating. Oh, see, I made Deb snort.
Well, that's going to be a typical one with our topic today.
Dear. Yeah, it is. Yeah, we've got a good topic, but of course you already know, listeners already know what we're going to talk about, but we always enjoy talking about what we choose to talk about here, and we hope that it elevates you, that it makes you laugh. That's what we want, to make people laugh and feel good and feel happy and calm and balanced all at the same time, and alive. Yeah. So before we tell you, because we'll pretend that you don't know what we're going to talk about. And Deb's saying, oh no, because she knows I'm going to ask her a question in a minute.
Oh, this is a hard one.
So
this is a hard one. Okay, I'll be quiet.
We like to have you, our listeners, as well as ourselves, we like to rate ourselves on a scale of 0 to 10. 10 being really like, oh my God, I'm so stuck. I don't know what on earth to do. I'm so chaotic and don't know how to get out of this. And 0 is nothing bothers me. I'm so totally zened out, peaceful, all is well in my world. And so, dear Deb, what number will you put yourself at?
I'm just going to be honest. I'm actually a 0.
Good for you.
I'm actually just going to be honest. I was thinking, oh no, I need to. Oh, this is interesting. I need to be something and then move to the 0, like already predicting everything. But I'm a 0. You never know. I might bump down, but I'm definitely a 0.
Yeah, and so am I. Deb and I always, but I am at a 0. Deb and I always talk before we start recording these, and so oftentimes, even if we are a little bit elevated, we piece each other out and feel what's going on and talk our way through. But here's the thing about that rating ourselves. I think it's an important thing for people to do throughout their day, because you might get up in the morning and be at a 0, and then things don't quite go, you miss a call or you show up late for something, and so our numbers will change throughout the day. But the whole concept of this is that we like to just get a concept of, does our dialogue help you move from wherever you are closer to a pieced out space? And that's our intent with these conversations.
And if it doesn't,
then email us and say, I need more.
Let us know. Yeah.
I need
feed me. Yeah, definitely. And I do remember actually one time I was a 0, and then I think I went down to a 3 afterwards or something, because we just talked about so much that made me go, oh, I'm gonna look into that. Oh, I'm gonna have to look into that. Oh,
yeah. So I think that I've seen you do that before, when it's like, oh gosh, there is things for me to dive into here.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but I do
about
like
telling yourself the truth.
Yeah, and I do like that you said even throughout the day as well, because that's it. One of the things is sometimes we tend to focus on what we didn't get done instead of what we did get done.
Yeah.
So it's actually acknowledging that whole where we are at now and being okay with that. And then 3 o'clock today, okay, well, I didn't get that done, but look what I did achieve today.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay. Well, then my number would be a different number. So yeah, I think that's a great one as well.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do tend to focus on what didn't I get done? What didn't I get done?
That little
the heavy stuff.
harsh taskmaster. Gotta tell
It's that cue. It's the cue in the bagel. There you go, people. There's another little link in there.
A link to another story, another conversation. So today, talking about that, we're going to talk about personality quirks, strength or flaw. Because that's actually a really brilliant segue into it, Deb. What you just said is that a person's strength may be getting a whole bunch of things ticked off their list, like mundane tasks off your to-do list, but they may then criticize themselves because they focus all on the flaw of, I didn't get everything done on my list.
I didn't get the one thing I want to get done. Well, why didn't you start with that at the first place? Like, if you wanted to get that done, why did you leave that to the end of the day to get it done?
Yep.
So what is a personality quirk? What would you label a personality quirk as?
So to me, it's what makes us unique and sort of stand out. It differentiates. So I like the word quirk. So quirkiness.
I love it. You and I are quirk people.
I know we
you
are.
And I are quirk people. We have personality quirk is definitely.
So
So what makes you stand out from somebody else? Is that what you're saying?
So like I was saying that, so for me, and this has actually been fed back to me a number of times, is that I can bring calmness to chaos in very, very quick order. So that is I think it's a quirk, but it's actually a pretty strong strength too. But so here's the thing, and Deb, you and I just
or a flaw
talked about it. We just talked about this recently, where if I show up in an environment or in a situation, always having the ability to bring calmness and to be calm myself, that then I will not necessarily say this situation is toxic or is not going to work for me or I have to get out of this, because I'm going to generally say, well, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. I'll stay here and see how it unfolds. And so therefore it can be a bit of a flaw in that I might
not make the decision as quickly as to get yourself out,
or deplete my energy a wee bit because I've stayed in something longer than I could have, or that was best for me.
Well, they're all those red flags that we see when we get into a business relationship with someone, or intimate, anything, and we see them and we go, nah. Like I see that little red flag, and it's just a little red flag, but we don't acknowledge it as a red flag. We see it as a pink thing. We go, oh, that's pink, that's cute. Okay. And then it just gets redder and redder until you're sliced and you're bleeding, and then it's a big red flag. I love the way I describe certain things, but it is because we see those things and we see that warning, but sometimes we go, oh, I'm just going to sit in it, and I believe we see more value sitting in it. I had an incident recently where I stayed in a business situation. I knew it wasn't right, but I just kept going, benefit of the doubt. It's going to get better, until I was sliced with the cheese grater in my mind, which is a nicer way of putting it. And then I'm like, man, why didn't I get out? And it was that. But when I go back to that situation, I look and go, I saw more value in just staying in it and just writing it out and going, okay, I'm going to learn my lessons. I know that, but there could be something that I'm going to get that's going to be more valuable than being cut in two.
Right. But do you think that, and I'm kind of feeling into this myself, is that sometimes we can, because we're saying benefit of the doubt, and there must be lessons here, and there's a reason that I'm in this situation. I think that for myself, that that has made me stay in situations for much, much longer. And it was because I wasn't sort of coming back into the present moment and saying, is this the right thing for me? Is this the right thing? Do I need to do something about this? Do I need to get out of this? Do you know what I mean? It's like having to really check. It's almost like when we get into that place of benefit of the doubt, that perhaps we need to set up some kind of pattern that says, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt, but I'm going to come back and check to see. Oh, Deb, you're muted.
Whoops. How long are you going to? I had to mute because the dog was having a heart attack. Not having a heart attack, having a go at anybody, a leaf.
Sit.
Yeah. So how long do you sit in that benefit of the doubt? And I think
that's my question.
Yeah. I think that also depends on the situation. But if you, every month, if you're questioning something, like say you're in an intimate relationship and you have 1 week of hell and then 3 weeks of bliss, and then another week of hell, and you're like, okay, so if I weighed that up every month, I can put up with this 1 week of hell for those 3 weeks of bliss. But in reality, you don't have to put up with 1 week of hell.
Yeah,
it's 1 week of hell where you go grey, and I've said this scenario with people about that 1 week of hell. Is that really worth the 3 weeks of bliss that you have? Because you also, it's not 3 weeks of bliss because you know that week's coming up. So you start eggshelling, you start preparing yourself, you start getting things in order for that week of hell.
Right.
And
so that personality quirk of explaining it away. Oh, they didn't really mean it. Or look at all the wonderful stuff that it's actually, do you know what that feels like is selling yourself, selling yourself short, because we all deserve unconditional love. And what you just described, that's pretty conditional, right?
But it's only when you actually notice it. Like, you say to, like, people come to me and they'll come to you, as clients, and they'll say, and you'll say, okay, how's your intimate relationship? Because, you go through your business relationship, you go through your relationship with your parents. Oh, my intimate relationship's fine. Okay, so when was the last time you had an argument? Oh, 3 days ago. And we didn't, didn't talk for 3 days. So we've only just started talking. Oh, so it's perfect. Oh no. So when was the last time you argued before that? Or 2 days before that?
Right.
And then a day before that, and it's like, okay, and how long has this been going on? Oh, we've been together 5 years. Oh, we argue all the time. And you dig that little bit, and then they're like, oh my God, it's not perfect.
Right.
It's not. And I'm like, well, it is pretty perfect because it's got you to who you are now. So let's unpack what's really going on. Let's look at the big cause of everything right now and look at your other relationships, who you are. But so many, and it's only when you question that with people, as a coach myself, I question that with people, and then they go, oh no, it's fine. That's great. And then they start going, actually, you know what? We argue every day.
Right.
Or every day or you talk to somebody about a medical condition. You're like, okay, so when was the last time you had, I was going to say gas, burped? When was the last, you've had bloatedness or something? Oh, this morning. Okay. And the time before that? Oh, yesterday. And the time before that? Oh, the day before that. Okay. So clearly there's something going on.
Right.
Oh, but I've had this ever since I was with my partner, and I've been with my partner for 10 years. So I can say that I've had this daily for 10 years. And you're like, oh my God, are you serious? You've done this for 10 years daily and you've never done anything about it. Like,
but do you know that when you sit, and you've said it twice, saying about the coaching clients, because with my coaching clients, if I start saying to you, how are you? And you're not allowed to use the F word. And the F word is like, and I always get people reacting just like you just did, because I mean fine. I don't want to hear fine, because do you know what? To me, fine is a dismissive statement of, I don't want to go there. I'm not going to take responsibility to look and say, how am I really doing? Let's lift the hood and unpack and say, how am I really doing? And do not get into oh my God, what would this person think of me if they knew that I'm so horrified about my life, or I'm feeling so stuck, or this is so much chaos. It's not about judgment. But the key piece, and here's the thread and the theme of all the work that I do with clients, is I want to teach responsibility. And responsibility meaning we all have the ability to respond to everything at all times. And so in your example there about the person who says, oh, I'm willing to put up with the 1 week of hell to get the 3 weeks of bliss, take responsibility, because that 1 week of hell, when you take responsibility for it, you can then say, oh, hey, wait a minute, I don't deserve this. I'm not willing to sell myself short or to betray myself or put myself down on the list of importance, right?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because the person when I talked to about that, they just said, well, I'll just move out for that 1 week. Now I'm aware of it. I'll move out. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that's called enabling.
Do you honestly think
that's called enabling?
Like, do you really think if you move out of the house for that week, that 1 week of hell is not going to be filtered into your other 3 weeks that you've had? And then that 1 week of hell when you're at a hotel or motel or somewhere else, do you not think that that's still going to filter in? So now you've actually just spread that 1 week of hell into 2.
But then it's really funny because the immediate thing that landed for me was that if you did that, you'll end up that 1 week that you go and spend on your own will be your 1 week of bliss, as opposed to the 3 weeks of it's like, whoops, I flipped it upside down.
Yeah. But then what'll happen is they'll have that whole guilt. Oh, I'm having a lovely time in this motel or hotel or whatever. I'm having a lovely time away. Oh, this is and then the other person's in complete turmoil, and you're going to walk into bomb.
How dare you?
Material.
But how dare you have so much fun without me?
Yeah, what are you doing? Yeah, why have you not answered your phone? Because I can't see you and control you. It's really interesting how we deal with it. You know, we started this off with personality quirks, strength or flaw.
Yeah.
And I know there's over 4,700 personality traits that we have within us. Mm-hmm. And we all have them. We've all got those traits and actions with us, and we pull them out when it's appropriate.
Right.
Knowing today it's appropriate to be a BH, tomorrow it may not be, or whatever's going on. If someone's trying to take out my family, I definitely pull out my
Mama Bear's coming to town.
Yeah, I was trying to think, how would I word this? Yeah, I pull out my pom-poms and God help you, I will slice you. I won't really. Well, I will. But if you pick on certain things. But then there's other times that I'll just back away and just go, you know, what do they say? Not my monkey, not my fight, isn't it?
Not my monkey, not my circus, not my monkeys.
Yeah.
Something like
that.
Not
my one of us will get it. Yeah, one of us. But that's exactly it. But so I believe that personality quirks are a strength and a flaw because they can have a large impact on people. And that's not, you know, when you do something to somebody or you say something to somebody, it's not our intention that we want to cut them. And I say that cut them, slice them, you know, just because I had a conversation with a woman at the weekend about if you repeat this, I'm going to slice you like a cheese grater and you won't even know and you'll just slowly bleed out.
Oh gosh.
It was a joke. Yeah, it was a different joke. So that's why it's in my mind. But there's things that we say and we don't want to hurt people. We're not saying things or verbally or our actions to hurt people. We're doing it because we just need to protect ourselves and we need to go internally and to stop and breathe ourselves.
Right.
So if we're having an argument with someone and we go, I just need to step away, that person can't take it personally that they need to step away. They need to stop what they're doing and just put their hand on their heart and breathe.
Absolutely.
And just go, okay, I need to now go, what's the best option for me? And then what's the best option for the other person? But when someone goes, I need to walk away from this, they're not walking away for it. They're just taking a moment to breathe, which is respecting them, and they're respecting you because they need to honor you and think about what's the best option. And I think that's the thing. And I was just going to say, and I think that's the best option, that they're not firing on all cylinders.
I completely agree with you, because that is a very responsible way to deal with something, is saying, I need to step away. That to me would show a high level of self-awareness of maybe I've got so upset and so triggered or so blinded by what's going on and what's the right thing to say, that it's best to say nothing and step away. It doesn't mean I'm never coming back to speaking this through. I need to take time out.
I need to take a moment to breathe, to process what you've said, what I've said. Are you reasonable?
Yep.
Is this reasonable for me? Did I react? You know, and then and the same for the other person.
Mm-hmm.
So then when you come back together, you've both had a different time to think and analyze. The only thing there, so I'd say that's a strength, but the only flaw there is if you step away and you get fired up more and more. They said that, 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 then they did that, they said that. Then that's definitely a flaw for stepping away, because you're taking on all this stuff and you're actually not going, what did I say? What did my mouth say? What did my reactions say? What did my body energy say? What was going on behind that? What was actually the core thread? Because it's not just when someone throws a dart at you,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or you throw a dart. It's actually, there's a lot going on behind that. Did I not sleep? What's really the crutch of what's going on? It's not that they don't, you know, so at the start of relationships, it's so funny. And I talk to people and they say, oh my God, he's so cute. He can't even get his socks in the washing basket. He throws them in and it's so cute. And he just can't even get them. He's just, you know, he's a bit of a klutz and it's really cute. And I pick up his socks and I put them in the washing basket. And when they're saying that, and I'm going, oh my God, 3 months time, the honeymoon phase or whatever people say. And you're thinking, and then a year later, I have to get rid of them because he's so stupid. He can't even put his washing in the washing basket. He's just so lazy. And you're like, oh my God, that's the thing you fell in love with at the very start, that it was so personality quirk that you thought was cute,
that you saw it was so cute. But do you know something that I just thought of? Is this something that I say to a lot of clients and students over the years, is we teach people how to treat us.
A quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
So that person that says, oh, it's so cute that they don't pick up their socks, they're teaching that partner, it's okay, you don't have to take responsibility for getting your socks in the washing basket. So it's actually
take responsibility for anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
But you see what I mean?
It's domestic duty.
It's until you say no, it's not to get bitchy about it or anything, but it's to take ownership for, oh, the reason that person doesn't pick up after themselves is because I said it was okay. We say it. We say it with our body language, with our acceptance, with our, oh, isn't that cute? Or, oh, they don't really mean it. Well, no, it's time to say, no, put the toothpaste lid back on, or pick up your socks, or, right?
Yeah, and I had to giggle because I had a client, and one of the things she said was, I still pack his bag for when he goes away on boys' trips or goes away on trips. Mm-hmm. And she goes, and I hate it. And so now I'm getting really annoyed with it. So now I'm just giving him one sock, not two. And, and he's getting frustrated. And I'm like, okay, so how long I'm like, and you started dating at 15 and you're just over 50 now, and now you're getting peeved off. So he's never had to pack his bag. So what do you think? And she's like, well, why can't he pack his bag now? And I'm like, for the last, how often have you wiped his butt? Yeah, it's really, 40 years, 35 years. Mm-hmm. 35 years you've been packing his bag. So why would he want to pack his bag now? You've been doing it.
Yeah.
It is that stuff. Either you step up and you say something. Is it really important to say about the washing or not?
Yeah.
Or am I going to let it go? Like, pick your battles. But
do you know the other thing? And this is actually a really good point to come into this personality quirk, whether it's a strength or a flaw. Because when we do these things, like they're in a relationship, we are going to do things for one another. My husband made me supper last night. He's not going to hold that up for me and sort of say, hey, no.
I've made you one.
So
and
you
that's
better.
that keeping score.
Yeah. We've talked about that before. But the thing is that for somebody in the example that you just gave, when we do for other people before we look after our own self, and we keep doing that, like you're saying in your example, it's like 40 odd years. When we do that, resentment builds up. And that's what it sounds like in that conversation that you had. And it's because in our own dialogue, it's like, what's wrong with that person? How come they don't they see all the sacrifices I make to always pack the suitcase or always make the meals or always do the washing? Well, P.S., they don't. Why should they?
No, 35 years, someone's done the same thing. Why would you? And when they have a go at you about it, you'll be like, you what? You don't like doing it? Well, why didn't you tell me that 34 years ago?
Exactly. And then even in that scenario, to me, that's actually almost a form of betrayal, because you've allowed the person you're doing these things for to believe everything's okay. And yet you got this simmering resentment building because you're not standing up for yourself and saying, you know what, this isn't okay. And you know what else? There is nothing wrong with any one of us saying, you know what, I thought it was okay. And up until this point, it was okay, but it's not anymore. So let's look at how can we create or co-create a different solution to this, right? But it's about communicating and taking responsibility, not saying it's all your fault.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about this, and the more I'm thinking, it's because sometimes we don't see stuff until we're smacked in the face.
Yes.
And when we're smacked in the face, then we go, oh, what's really the issue here?
Yeah.
Or we ignore it and we carry on. And so it's that whole red flag, pink flag. And so it's a whole, oh gosh, or you hear your words and you go, oh, that's a lot. So it's being aware. It's, oh, that's deeper than I thought, or that came out a lot sharper than I thought. I didn't think it would. Oh, there's some. And so then it's actually taking the time. And this is what I find people don't do is reflection of myself. I can hear it as I say this, is actually stop and taking the time and going, what worked today? What didn't? What would I want to change? What would I not want to change? What's my gratitude for the day? You know, it's actually taking the time to go, am I okay with what I did today to others and myself? Right. Like, is there anything I want to learn from that? Like, where's the red flags from today? Or was everything, but it's actually peeling back the layers to who you are. It's finding the truth of who you are.
Finding the truth. Sneak that one in. Sneak that one in. But you know, that's
also peeling back those layers.
It is. But it's also, that's my favorite question. You've heard me say this one before, is how does it make me feel about me? So to your point, how does my choices and what I got done and what I didn't get done, how does it make me feel about me?
Yeah.
And then do I need to do something
if you're
different?
If you're sitting in that bubble, I'm going to go from a zero further down after this. Now I'm going to be analysing. Just so you know, I just realised that. I just looked out the window and went, oh, I'm going to go down because I'm going to be analysing, taking time. Oh, perfect. But it's actually taking that quality time and stopping. And if you don't have 5 minutes, hide in the toilet, do it at the traffic lights, pull up at your kids' school earlier, whatever, find that time, because your heart and soul is the most valuable thing on this world, not others. It's you, because if you're not functioning, you're not going to be able to help others or help anything bigger than yourselves. So stop and take the time and look at that. Ask those questions.
Absolutely. Because if you don't, it's not even that you won't be able to help these other people. You won't be able to see clearly, because you'll be seeing through the filtered lens of your own resentment or your own lack of self-care or your own kind of coming to that zero zen space before reacting or saying or asking, right?
Yeah, and I work on that word fair exchange. And if you're not in fair exchange, resentment, bitterness, disgruntledness, all those things come into play. And it's not about going, Moira, I've done 10 things for you today and you've only done 2, because if that's happening, you need to pull yourself up very quickly and go, what's the true core of this? What's really going on? But take the time, people. I really encourage you to take the time, and even, hand on your heart, just stop and do it in the shower if if you can, or when you get into bed at night and no one's around, or distraction, or someone's around or whatever, but find your space, preferably no one's around, and just internally dialogue. If you have someone around 24/7, bummer for you, but if you have someone around 24/7, then say, look, I'm going to take some time out right now. I'm just going to take some time and I'm going to do this. If you'd like to do it with me, I would love you to do it. But if you can just keep quiet while I do mine, you can have pen and paper and you can write your stuff down, just so I can just, if you have someone who just wants to be with you all the time, then just tell them that's what you're going to do, and they will honor you. Well, I'd like to think they're going to honor you for doing that, and yourself. And then you've also allowed them to reflect and look at their stuff.
Right. And that's a perfect example of what I was saying about us educating others how to treat us. Because in your example of somebody that wants to be with you 24/7, well, I've created that. If I'm in a relationship for that, I've created it, because I have not allowed myself this thing, love you, but I need my meditation time, or I need my sit and stare at a wall time, or sit and journal.
And guilt-free.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's so important, because that's the thing, is that it's so important to, and you said it a moment ago, Deb, is that you are your own priority. You have to be. It's not selfish to put all of your own needs first.
Being a single mum, and I say that word reluctantly, but it's true. I know when I first had my daughter, I was left with, you got to put your daughter first. Got to put your daughter first. You got to put your daughter first. Your daughter's number one priority. You feed her before you feed yourself. All those things. And I listened. And then the more I realized, holy shite, I can't put her first anymore.
Right.
I have to put myself first, because if I'm not getting up, getting dressed, I'm going to walk, if I'm not feeding myself or whatever, I can't help her.
Right.
Like, you've got a little baby, like people say, when your baby sleeps, you need to sleep. You freaking need to sleep. When they sleep, you need to sleep, but you actually need to sleep. And if you don't sleep when they sleep, get someone else to look after them. Like, find a way, because if you're not looking after your soul, your health, your wealth, your surroundings, your mental stability, if you're just not looking after you, you're screwed.
Well, you absolutely are. And
that's all there is to it.
the example you give there about being a mother, I've worked with many mothers over the years that I've helped them sort of wake up to that, because there is that sort of belief. I'm putting my fingers in the air. It is, but it's like, oh, your kid has to come first. Your child has to come first. But the key piece is think about it. If you are completely depleted and you haven't eaten what you need and you haven't had enough sleep, and your baby starts to cry, are you going to say, oh, they're there? Or are you going to say, shut up, because you're so cranky? Right? So it's about reframing that and realizing I can be the Zen, calm, loving being that nurtures and looks after my child. When I do, and it doesn't have to take a long time. You doing a little mini meditation, or focusing on your breath, or having something to eat first, none of those things take that much time.
I think society says, oh, you'll find it hard being a single mother. Like, I go back to those, oh, you're going to find it hard not to, to bring up your daughter on your own. Oh, you'll find it, you won't, your money, people will judge you. You'll never have all the money again. Nah, really? Okay, well, if I'm going to take on all that stuff, I'm really just going to might as well rock in the corner myself and be a 10 out of never get to the 0. Because if I listen to all that stuff, I am. I'm going to listen to all that stuff. I'm clearly going to be stuck in my shite.
Right.
But if I go, okay, my money's never going to be my own. Well, actually it is, because my daughter doesn't have control of my bank account. I pick and choose, and those things. And actually, but people say stuff that we take on, and it's that, oh, don't run out on the road, you're getting hit by a truck. Well, there's no trucks on that road. But, it's those things, and they say stuff and it sticks to us and we then take it on.
Right.
So, yes, maybe the money's not going to be fully mine and I have another responsibility, but I'm the one who signs the checks or the FPOS machine or any of that stuff. That's me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the stuff to remember, is you have to do what's best for you, not what is best for other people, and listening to their stuff.
And so you brought up a really, really important part, because the truth is, with personality quirks, everybody has an opinion. Funny story, because I won't. Being an intuitive, I will feel into a person's energy, and if what you're sharing with me or what stories are coming, if they're in resonance with me, then I'm going to listen and I'm going to engage. But if they don't, you'll think I am, but I've checked out and I'm not listening anymore. And I've developed a skill for that. But the other day I had a meeting with somebody that I hadn't talked to for quite a while. And he is very into the politics and stuff that I don't really want to get into. And so he started telling me that this is the state of the world and this is what's going on. And so right in front of him, because we were on video camera on Zoom, I stuck my fingers in my ears. I just because I initially said, I don't want to talk about this. And he continued. So I just stuck my fingers in my ears.
Now that's definitely a strength for that personality quirk. Now, he may have thought it was a flaw. That's definitely a strength. But that's you're not listening to me, mate. That's exactly it.
You didn't hear me telling you I didn't want to hear this. So I'm going to show you that I'm not going to listen.
Yeah, so I'm clearly backing out. Yeah, you hear me beep beep beep, back that truck out of the conversation. Yeah, I think it's being able to, and it is that guilt free. I just keep thinking about that. It's being able to be you, own who you are, pick and choose that today you're going to be gentle, tomorrow you're not going to be gentle, or whatever that situation is, and be okay with what you do, what is said to you, how you react, and just be okay with being okay.
Yes.
And I think that's the thing.
I completely agree with you. It's about being okay and trusting that no matter what happens, you're going to react with the right response, whether that is, like you say, with that calmness.
At that time.
At that time.
Yeah.
You don't have to think and say, well, how what about this? And how are you going to react if that happens? It's like, well, it's not happening. To your point about the don't run out, as you'll get hit by a truck, and you think, well, there's no trucks. Like, there's no trucks. So don't need to listen to your story right now. Right? Yeah. But then it's to trust that I will recognize when there is a truck that I will not run out in front of it. Right? So it's like, I don't need to look at every single scenario.
It's an awareness.
Present. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's awareness. Yeah.
Yes. Wow.
Well,
today, that was a goodie.
That was a good one.
Except I do know my number. Yeah, personality quirks, strength or flaw? Both. They're both.
They can be both.
Both.
But you know, the same quirk can actually be a flaw and a strength depending upon what the environment and the situation is, right?
Well, that's exactly it. And what is happening around and what is being seen or heard. Yeah.
Absolutely.
So, listeners and Moira, what number are you now? Moira started with a 0.
I did start
I
with
started with a 0.
So
where would you be now?
Interestingly, like you, there is a wee bit of things that I want to do. So I'm actually going to put myself at a 1. Is that the same number as you did?
Yeah, I'm definitely going back to a 1. Back to a 1. Yeah, I am, because this has made me really just think. And because today I'm flying, so it's a great time. I love being in a plane because it really, there's something about being elevated that allows us to think differently. And I just feel there's different energy around.
Perspective for sure.
Yeah, so I'm going to do some work on the plane. But
Cool.
right now I'm definitely a 1. So listeners, let us know where you were to where you are now. That would be super awesome. And I did pre-frame that at the start. I said, even though we're started at 0, it could be anything.
Yep.
Damn.
Yep. That's what we said, is that you want to keep doing this throughout your day. And your whole, it's very useful just to check in with yourself.
Absolutely. So who's wrapping up? Is this me or you wrapping up?
It's you.
Me?
You.
Oh, okay. So clearly my personality quirk went out the window, strength or flaw. So thank you, listeners, for listening. We would love your feedback. We trust that you got some golden nuggets and maybe some bronze nuggets in here.
And
so
even
let
silver.
us know what you liked, what you didn't like. Yeah, bit of silver in there, platinum. So thank you, and thanks, Moira. It's definitely allowed us to think wider. I really appreciate this. We will see you next time on the Deliciously Motivated Mindset podcast with Debz and Moira. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Debz. Thanks, listeners. Bye.
Bye.